Coinbase is launching a token sales platform, and the first token sale on the platform is MON, the gas token for the Monad network. What does this mean? Who can participate in the token sale? When will it go live? What is Monad? I sat down with Scott Shapiro from Coinbase, Keone, and Kevin McCordic from the Monad Foundation to find out the answers to these questions and more. The following is our conversation. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast. It is fantastic to be here. Today I'm joined by Scott Shapiro from Coinbase, as well as Keone and Kevin McCordic from Monad Foundation. There is a lot to unpack here, and I'm sure the listeners are ready for us to dive right into the details. Scott, welcome to the Pipeline. Would love if you could unpack this awesome announcement and give us a little TLDR on the token sales platform that Coinbase is launching.
Yeah, we're super excited to get this started. This is a big evolution in Coinbase, which Coinbase has been around for a long time and has largely been a secondary market, right? So tokens get created somewhere and then they get listed on Coinbase's exchange, and then people can trade them in a secondary market. And so with this token sale platform that we're launching, it actually will allow people to buy the tokens first. And it's distributed in a way that does not favor any given market participant. So the whole retail community can engage and participate with token sales on Coinbase now in a way that's really never existed before.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are very excited about this new product. One question we would like to hop into: why Monad, right? Why is Mon the first token sale on the platform?
Yeah, I think part of it is great timing, right? That we started building this, and Monad's token sale was getting ready at the same time, and there's a really good match there. It's not the only project in crypto, though, right? There's a lot of other attributes that we like to look for, and I think Monad, hit some of these, which are things like how committed is the team? Is the team interested in building something for the long term? Is the team reputable? Are they devoted to what they're doing? Are they willing to participate in a way where they're not just going to turn around and sell all their tokens, or is there some sort of mechanism that prevents the team from doing that? I think a lot of those boxes were checked. We also look at things like, what is going to appeal to the Coinbase user? What kinds of projects are they going to be interested in? Is this something that is furthering aspects of the mission that Coinbase believes in, of bringing the world on chain, of updating the system? And so we try to be in this product, which is a very new product, debuting for the first time right now, try to be very much holding a high bar and really taking a high standard to this, and really focusing on the quality of issuers that are working with the token sale platform, as opposed to any other sort of quantity metric.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that clearly makes a lot of sense. And yeah, Keone, we'll toss it to you next. For anyone who does not know yet, would be great if you could just give a high level overview and explain what Monad is and what is the role of the Mon token on the network.
Absolutely. Great to be here. I think it's such an exciting moment in the history of the Monad project. And I'm just incredibly excited that the Mon token will be the first token ever on Coinbase's new token sale platform that I know Coinbase team has put an incredible amount of work into. And just really honored to be here at this moment. Monad is a blockchain network for decentralized high-frequency finance. Monad is a new blockchain network that's introducing a bunch of new architecture to ultimately help decentralization scale. That includes introducing things like parallel execution and pipelining. More generally, it's an effort that is based off of previous experiences in high-frequency trading. The project started in 2022. It's really kind of descended from both learnings in HFT as well as observations from the past 10 plus years of smart contracts and Ethereum. In crypto, we have really powerful standards. In particular, we have the Ethereum virtual machine, or EVM, bytecode standard, which is how most smart contracts and crypto are built. And with powerful standards, it means that developers can build applications and deploy them to a permissionless network, and other developers can build other programs that compose on top of those programs that call into those other programs as subroutines and build up more complex functionality. And this all comes from having a common open standard that everyone can build against. Monad is a project that is supercharging this open standard, the EVM, by introducing parallel execution, pipelining, and various other features that exist in modern computer systems, which are currently missing from existing decentralized systems. And at the end of the day, this is making decentralized systems more efficient and more performant so they can scale to many more users. In crypto, a decentralized system is one where we have many different nodes scattered all around the world that are all running software that allows them to maintain a whole bunch of programs and all of the states of all of those programs, balances for many users, data for many users, all synchronized across this global network. Every node in this network is a perfect replica of all the other nodes. And what this gives us is a system where instead of having a single point of failure, instead of relying on a single server to define the source of truth and be the authority, instead we have a decentralized authority and decentralized state of the world. And on top of that system, then developers can build programs that they upload to one node that then gets propagated to all the other nodes. And users can submit transactions against any of those programs that have been uploaded. Again, they submit it to one node and it gets replicated to all the other nodes. And so what we have is basically a world computer. It's a computer that is distributed across a whole bunch of nodes that are all in sync with each other. And as you can imagine, with a world computer, like a shared computer, we need to have some sort of metering to meter the work that this world computer is doing. And the way that it works in a decentralized blockchain system is that users can submit transactions and they pay for the execution of those transactions by paying for it using little tokens. And the more expensive of a piece of work that needs to get done, the more complicated the transaction is, the more that the user needs to pay in terms of tokens. So with all of that said, the Monad token is the new gas token or new basically resource metering token for this new blockchain network. It thus is the currency of this new network that any user can acquire and then use to pay for transactions in this network.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. So kind of as the Monad blockchain's native token, are there any other usages of the MON token?
Yes, that's right. The second usage of the MON token is that Monad is a proof of stake network. And in a proof of stake network, every node operator stakes a portion of tokens in order to assert that they're going to follow the rules of the network and contribute positively to the network by following all of the rules of the protocol. That stake is important because it's the thing that kind of keeps each node operator honest. And so node operators accumulate stake either by staking themselves or by having other users delegate stake to them. And in aggregate, that stake serves as the basis for each node operator's participation as a node operator or validator in the network. So in short, the second use of the MON token is for staking.
In short, if I upload all of that to ChatGPT and then it's going to spit back a one-sentence summary, it would be MON is the Monad blockchain network's native token used to pay gas, secure the chain via staking, and align validators, developers, and users around the growth of the protocol.
Exactly.
Yeah, appreciate that explanation. I think this model is likely unfamiliar to some of the listeners simply because of the novel nature of this technology. But this is certainly a historic moment and would love to hear from Scott's perspective with the launch of this token sales platform and the MON token as the first sale on that platform. What industry-wide problems is the platform itself poised to address?
Yeah, I love that question. There hasn't been a great, fair, easy way for the retail community, the US retail community, to participate in token sales, right? They've all been downstream of primary sales. Those token sales have happened in very limited ways to institutions or to people who know somebody who knows somebody. They haven't happened in a way where anybody who's using Coinbase can say, this sounds interesting, I want to investigate it, maybe I want to participate in it. And or maybe they've happened on offshore kind of unregulated venues where there's a pay-to-play model going on or something unsavory that a lot of us wouldn't feel good about doing. And so we're trying to design this platform in a way that is very inclusive, number one, and is also very fair. And so one of the things that we are really proud about is this bottoms-up distribution methodology. So no matter how much you want to buy, because you can say, I'll allocate X amount of dollars to buy this token, you may not get that full amount because we make sure that everybody gets the same amount first before then giving people more who otherwise have put up a bigger ask as part of that token sale. So those are the two things, is that kind of fairness of distribution and participation, along with making sure that it's all above board and that we're just being very transparent and open with issuers who we believe are doing the right thing for the crypto economy.
Yeah, the transparency and open equal access component is really key. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners on this podcast and those who are excited about today's announcement are really latching on to that side. Maybe you could actually run us through, Scott, because this is such a novel offering, particularly to those in the US. What is this actually going to look like from the perspective of someone who's going to come on to the Coinbase token sales platform and look to participate in a token sale?
Yeah, so as this is live, anybody who's in an eligible jurisdiction can go in the Coinbase app and check it out. And so if you go in the Coinbase app, you'll very quickly see, if you're eligible, that there's a token sale going on, and you can go and you can learn much more about it. You can request to be informed when it's available for sale, and then you'll get a reminder and a notification that says, okay, now it's actually available for sale, come back and you can buy it. Then you can choose your allocation, and there's a maximum amount that any given Coinbase user can request. So you request that allocation, your funds are held so that all those transactions can clear. There's about a week for that process to happen. And then at the end of that week, those tokens will get distributed and start trading directly on Coinbase's exchange, and you'll be able to buy more. If you want, you could sell if you want. There are penalties that we will be considering for people who are doing this just to flip the token. We want to focus on people who are in these ecosystems for the long term, but we do not have any hard restriction per se. It's just something that we'll factor in for other types of opportunities on Coinbase.
Makes sense. And you started to dive into this topic a little bit, but I want to make sure we really clearly outline how the users of distributed systems, retail, how are they going to specifically benefit from the way that the Coinbase token sales platform is positioned?
So I think the first one is they'll get access to more opportunities, right? So instead of just being downstream and trading liquid tokens that have been primary sold elsewhere, they'll be kind of at that zero moment. And we want to be in a place as a company where we're able to serve all the needs of issuers, from kind of concept through custody through token sale and liquidity on our exchange. kind of full life cycle. We're also trying to provide a product for retail users where they can manage their financial lives on Coinbase. And so to be able to do this all in one place and say, I've been able to buy Bitcoin and other assets on Coinbase. I've been able to use stable coins and make payments. I have a great Coinbase One card that I can go spend and earn, BTC backed rewards on. I can now trade DEX assets on Coinbase. Oh, by the way, I can also do primary token purchases through token sales on Coinbase too. And I think, long term, focused out into the future, like we want to be able to offer even more. We talked about this concept of the everything exchange, being able to offer equities and tokenized equities and other real world assets and prediction markets. We obviously already have, futures and perpetual futures. So this is just like another valuable thing that people can do to engage in more parts of the financial life cycle. And then obviously utilize these types of tokens, right? So to be able to send and receive and transact on the Monad network is a very important part of this token sale, as well as with other token sales in the future. We want to be able to not just offer the liquidity, but to be able to offer the usage and to be able to take advantage of the on-chain applications that'll come to Monad and whatever other ecosystems participate here.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you mentioned the Coinbase card. I recently got it. It's easily my favorite that I've come across. It is an awesome product, so appreciate you guys building that out. Yeah, it's a great one. Keone, going to toss a question to you. For anyone who's coming from kind of the Coinbase audience side that might not be familiar with Monad's backstory, I first learned about Monad in early 2022. The Monad blockchain has been under research and development for a very long time. I guess if you could just give a little bit of background on what the story of Monad has been kind of from start, over the last few years and then where we currently are today.
I think the story of Monad really starts at the beginning of 22. Three co-founders, James Hunsaker, Eunice Giarda, and myself, started the Monad project at the beginning of 2022. Prior to that, James and I worked together at Jump Trading for 8 years as high-frequency traders. He was the lead developer of our trading team. I was a quant and the team lead of our trading team. And we just worked together for a number of years, building early performance systems for trading in the centralized finance world. And we're really active especially in the futures markets. And in order to be competitive as a high frequency trader in those markets, you need to understand systems very, very deeply and continually optimize and continually re-architect the system to really move as quickly as possible and be as efficient as possible. So we had that background. We spent a number of years at Jump Trading building trading systems, joined the crypto team at Jump Trading in 2021, and spent a little bit of time there, mostly focused on Solana and Solana DeFi. And we really had a front row seat to the launch of Solana and the early days of the Solana ecosystem. And just for background, Solana is, performant blockchain built completely from scratch in Rust with an emphasis on performance and with a view of sort of shedding a lot of the previous practices of other blockchains. So Solana, developers build everything in Rust. Just in general, the entire developer tooling is completely different from Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem. And developers have to completely change the set of tools that they use and kind of throw away all of the existing things that they've used before in order to adopt Solana. So we saw this Solana blockchain go live and we saw this early ecosystem and had a lot of admiration for their team, but also observed a lot of problems that there were kind of two different systems, Ethereum and Solana, and they had different trade-offs. Ethereum had the sort of history of smart contract development, a lot of tooling, a lot of libraries. And then Solana had a new system that was built from scratch that was focused on performance, but without compatibility for everything that, the entire Ethereum ecosystem. And fast forward to 2022, we just realized there was a huge need for a really performant system that could bring everything together and could give developers and users the best of all worlds, to give them full compatibility with the ecosystem of Ethereum development, access to all the apps, libraries, tools, and applied cryptography research being done in the Ethereum ecosystem, with the performance of Solana and with a really high degree of decentralization. And so with that, our team started building and basically ended up rebuilding an entire blockchain system from scratch, along the way introducing a number of new performance optimizations. And those performance optimizations kind of reflect the trajectory of computer systems over time, where computers move from purely serial execution and only the ability to do one task at a time, to parallel execution and parallel processing, which is how all computer processors work now, where they have a bunch of different processors and even more threads that are being managed by system processes to run many, many threads at the same time. So Monad introduced parallel execution to the Ethereum virtual machine to massively raise the throughput of the execution system. In addition to that, we discovered that one of the biggest bottlenecks for execution was the database itself. Existing systems were using legacy databases and putting kind of a thin wrapper over them in order to store the format of data that blockchain systems use. And we realized that an entirely new database was needed. So we built a new database from scratch that's specifically optimized for storing Ethereum state data in a very efficient manner that allows for parallel access and accelerates this parallel execution. And then while we were doing that, we realized the consensus mechanism needed to be able to keep up. And for context, Ethereum has 12-second block times and 12 to 18-minute finality. So that means that when you send a transaction on Ethereum, it gets picked up in the next train car, which comes every 12 seconds, and it gets finalized after 12 to 18 minutes. So that whole time, when your transaction is in the pending state, you actually need to wait that 12 to 18 minutes before being sure that it's enshrined in the history of the blockchain. So we built a new consensus mechanism called Monad BFT that has 400 millisecond block times and 800 millisecond finality, so that transactions can move at the speed that we're all used to when we're interacting with global computer systems. And then while we're doing that, we found other things that needed to get done as well. And it's been a quite the journey to get from 2022 to now, to going live with mainnet, but actually pretty similar to some of the trajectories of other projects. For example, I think Solana started in early 2017 or late 2016, and then had the mainnet in 2020. So it's an evolution of many years of work that are now coming to mainnet and delivering a really high performance system and delivering a lot of good properties for users to benefit ultimately.
So Keone, you're talking a lot about all this work that's been done behind the scenes on Monad. The team is clearly not averse to rolling up their sleeves and solving hard problems. And I think it's worth pointing out that that work has been especially challenging because of the core tenets of the Monad protocol that the team from day one has been unwilling to compromise on. And the two of those tenets are performance and decentralization as well. So I'm curious, what does the sale of the MON token being done on the Coinbase token sales platform mean to you as someone who so strongly values fair distribution and decentralization?
Yeah, as we were thinking through the plan for how to launch the Monad public mainnet and just the preparations that could be done ahead of that to really start the ecosystem off on the right footing, it was extremely important to all of us here that the token was very widely distributed and that many people would be able to get access to the token and be stakeholders in the Monad network. And quite recently, we've wrapped up the Monad airdrop, which was a huge, very intensive effort to identify users of crypto that have been very active in DeFi ecosystems, very active traders on chain, very active collectors of NFTs, or very active members of various crypto communities, as well as members of the Monad community that has been forming over the past 3+ years and has been incredibly instrumental to the growth of the Monad ecosystem. So spent a huge amount of time designing the Monad airdrop that has just wrapped up now, and getting tokens in the hands of many crypto participants, many people who eat, sleep, and breathe crypto. But there is still an element that's missing, which is that the algorithms for identifying users on chain, like they can't find everyone. And there needed to be another element that would really help the token be more distributed, ownership of the token be more decentralized. And we came to believe that the new product being built by Coinbase was an incredible way to accomplish that goal. At the end of the day, the power of a huge part of the power of any crypto network is the distribution of the token and the distribution of ownership among many people. And I think that token sales are an incredible way to accomplish that, and just excited to that the Monad project is playing a leading role in helping to change what are the industry standards.
Awesome. Yeah, and speaking of changing the industry standards, would love to ask you, Scott, about what this might look like moving forward and into the future. For anyone who's been paying attention to crypto for the last, last few years, but really as far back as 8 or 10 years now, token sales have taken on a bunch of different forms, right? Like in 2017, you had this ICO era where it was basically just anyone with an internet access could go and participate in these sales. Um, then, for the last 4 or 5 years, there were basically a bunch of strange different ways that people would try to do token sales and use an airdrop. And, it kind of seemed like a square peg in a round hole for a little while of trying to distribute tokens in a way that was fair and offered equal access. And so I guess my question would be, with this new um, token sale product coming from Coinbase, it seems like Coinbase is trying to pave the way and create like the optimal way to launch tokens for any type of crypto project. Um, but yeah, so if in given that that is the case, like what does this mean, or what does this look like for the future of token sales?
Yeah, I think you're giving me some nostalgia from the 2017 ICO days. I remember like participating in ICOs. I would send Bitcoin and hope that it would get to the right place. And I love Bitcoin, but it takes time to confirm, and it's happening on a web browser on desktop, and something hopefully works, and there's an allocation that comes, and I can go then download some other client to get the allocation of the token. And like there's a lot of faith that has to happen in each of those steps. And when you think about what we're doing here, it's mobile first, it's available to everybody, it's front and center in the Coinbase app, and we're just trying to design a great experience for both retail participants and issuers. And I think 2017 was a long time ago, but in those 8 years, like we really moved the ball forward with this experience that we're debuting right now. I think over time, there's a lot more that can happen with this kind of platform, not say this product specifically, but this kind of platform where, companies like Monad are leading the charge, very crypto native company. Like you don't get much more crypto native, right, than the groups, the folks in this group here. But ideally long term, like any business can create a token and properly, distribute that token, and whether it's a private company or a public company or something in between, like that's the potential, I think, of where we're headed. And again, to do that in a fair, transparent, above board kind of way that all market participants would feel good about. Like that's where we're heading as, we think about Coinbase and our update the system tagline. It kind of starts with this big step forward that maybe a few steps forward from kind of the status quo in crypto. But long term, I think crypto in a lot of ways blends in with the existing financial infrastructure. People don't even need to know that crypto is behind a lot of this longer term. And I think that's where this goes. That's kind of our vision over the next years and decades here.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been a crypto participant for over 8 years now, and Coinbase to me has always been kind of the leader. The best place that takes what crypto is supposed to be and packages it in a way that anyone can come and learn about, use crypto, get access. So hearing, the first time I heard that this token sale product was going to be built, I was very excited because obviously token launches are very important to the crypto space. And there's been a lot of flaws with them in the past. And so, if there was any team that could tackle it and build an awesome product to fix this problem, I'm very excited that Coinbase is the one that is taking it on and pushing the space forward.
It's thrilling to be here. It feels like this is history in the making, and maybe someday down the road, many token launches later, we'll all fondly rewatch this. But very excited to have had the opportunity to be here as this announcement is going live. As a longtime Coinbase user, a proponent of the MON blockchain and decentralized systems and tokens more broadly. Huge thank you, Scott, Keone, Kevin. Appreciate you all being here, and certainly a lot to look forward to.
Thank you. It was great to join you guys. It's a big week.
Huge week. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon.